2020 to 2024 with oil.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing I want to point out. The comparisons are ridiculous. The second thing I want to point out is that the figures cannot be trusted. What they have done is speaking in percentage. If I have 2 oranges and I carry that up to 4 oranges, I increase it by 100%.
Sure.
But it doesn't tell, if I say we increase orange production by 100%, it doesn't tell you how much oranges you had and how much. And so a lot of these percentages they are talking about is to conceal the fact that there haven't been significant increases. So I want Guyanese to recognize that in this budget, they stayed away from actual production figures. We heard bauxite increase by this percent, that percent. But how much bauxite was produced in 2023? How much was produced in 2024? If you look at that, you saw a decline in 2023. So what you're talking about in 2024, if you talk percentage, it will sound good, but it doesn't tell you how much bauxite has been produced. Missing from this budget is the word poverty.
Absolutely.
It's like if it is bad word. This budget has nothing in it to reduce or eliminate poverty.
Absolutely.
And they're so disingenuous. I want to go to what he said about old age pension. He said, the APNU promised 100% increase. And in 2020, when the APNU came to power, it was 13,000. Okay? And then he proceeded to say that at present, up to 2024, it is 20,050 or something to that effect. And announced that there will be an increase, 100% increase on 2020 rather than on 2024.
Which was
to carry to, if it was 100% increase on 2024, it would have been 36 times 2.
Exactly.
72,000. But he did it on 2020, which was 20,500, and now say it is 41,000. So what he did is try to kerfuffle the Guyanese people. But all of us who follow it will know that the increase from 36 to 41,000 is 5,000 Guyana dollars. It is ridiculous. Pensioners cannot live on it. And let us recognize the increases that could deal with people's lifestyle and giving them income are very, very small. But when you talk about contracts, etc., you get in large numbers. None of the announcement will provide a livable income. None. They had announced that the minimum wage in the army will go to 130. He didn't really announce what it will be now. But let us use 130. That is inadequate. People cannot live on 130,000. And then he had a lot of confusion in terms of taxes. You could see that they didn't think through taxes. Because here he was saying, we carry the tax threshold to 130. But the minimum wage is 130. So nobody there will be paying tax. So what are the benefits to be had from the small man from this 10%, this 10,000 on every other one? Again, it's a joke. Ashley Singh has made a fool of himself. There clearly is no tax policy. And with all the so-called benefits they were talking about, if they had reduced VAT from 14% to 10%, there would have been more money, and more importantly, all Guyanese would have benefited, because when they got a purchase, but you announce for farmers, you announce for this person, and so the average man out there isn't going to benefit from it. What makes it worse? There is no social network, safety network to help people.
Yeah.
Even the announcement on NIS. This country needs a proper social policy and social programs to cushion the ill effects of what is happening in Guyana. And so I'm saying to you, here is a budget without any social security network. That says to me a lot. Surely no law and order plan came out in the budget. It was like if law and order doesn't
He made
matter.
a ridiculous statement that there were virtually no vehicles for the police when they came to power. He made a lot of ridiculous statements like
he's
that.
just a liar. The Chinese are given plenty vehicles, and when they came to power in 2020, there were plenty vehicles.
Exactly.
But the short liar, the Guyanese know. It's just like he said about blackout. The Guyanese knew throughout Christmas they had blackouts. But let me go back to what I wanted to. There are no cost of living reduction measures. In my presentation, I will give more cost of living. Cost of living is probably the biggest problem facing the people of Guyana. And this government has the audacity to produce a budget without cost of living measures, when at the same time you did not give them a livable income. They keep saying that they're going to diversify. There is no comment on the development of new industries. It's the same old industries we're fighting with. Clearly, there is no new foreign investment, which is an indication of failure by the government. And even as they announce the wage increases, they continue the disparity. Look, if you increase the wages, the minimum wage is 100,000. You're saying you're giving 8% increase. What that means is that person is moving from 100 to 108,000. 8,000 increase in wages. It makes no sense. It is not livable. And so, even at the level of wages, you are not seeing them attempting to improve wages. So, no livable income, and you refuse to increase wages way and above 8,000. Of course, the president and them will get plenty. And that is why we keep saying to them, do a progressive wage increase, where when you are low down at the bottom, you get more and you get less to the top. But they are happy giving the Guyanese people next to nothing, while they carry away a lot of money. You know, so there are disparities in wage increases. Education and health, nothing was said. That is, again, the focus is on buildings. Tell us, why are you building all of these hospitals and you are not having the staff for it? And there's a fundamental flaw in the budget. One would have thought they would have incentivized people to want to stay here and work. This budget will chase more people out of Guyana because there is no incentive to work. And so education and health in trouble. And then he makes the ridiculous pronouncement about water. Water has deteriorated under the People's Progressive Party. Of course, he won't mention anything about corruption. But you increase this budget from 1.146 to 1.382 billion. Now let us note a few things. They couldn't spend the money last year. Between the 20th of December and the 31st of December, they hand out more than 70 contracts over 14 million. Some 500 of them, 400 and something. What that means
Yeah.
is all they said they would have spent last year, they didn't spend. Because if you give those contracts out in December, nobody can implement it.
Absolutely.
And this has serious implication for the figures in this budget. Because a lot of it going to be money that was there before
Yeah.
that weren't spent.
Yeah.
And so, again, you see them showing an inability
Yeah.
to budget properly.
Plan and execute. Yeah.
When you talk about the Suicide Cleaning Highway and spending billions, the 10 billion that has been allocated, if it was spent, it was stolen. Because anybody who drives the Suicide Cleaning Highway
Yeah.
will recognize
Yeah.
that no work substantively this year has been done on the highway. They clear bush to the side, and so they can. And no measures for wealth creation. How are you going? You're not going to create wealth for by the people of Guyana.
Yeah.
You haven't incentivized businesses to create wealth. Last year, I think they put a paltry 5 billion or something like that, and we didn't hear much this time.
One of the things we was really striking was the fact that he said that the cash grant rollout was a success. The 100,000 cash grant rollout was a big success. That has been one of the most frustrating experiences Guyanese would have had. I wonder if you had any thoughts about that.
I told you the budget was platitudes. He just talking. It had nothing to do with fact.
Yeah.
And so him saying the cash grant was rolled out successfully is normal Ashley saying, lying through his teeth. But the average Guyanese outside, they know that.
Exactly.
They know that many of them didn't get the money.
Exactly.
And they're still waiting on the money.
Exactly.
So, but they are that barefaced. They will know the problems of cash grant. But then they will go on as if they distributed it successfully. He's talking about projects. They have been unable to complete one project on time. The track and field stadium in Linden, while he's saying we had no projects, and he mentioned those we completed from them because they didn't. The track and field in New Amsterdam and Linden were projects that were ours. The man is so ridiculous. He said we had done nothing for the oil sector. And in the same breath, he contradicted himself by saying we had to change the rules that the APNU, AFC put in place. How you change that which wasn't put in place? The man is just caught up in a set of contradictions. And so there is no mechanism in this budget to increase and expand production. What is interesting, he didn't say how much money they lost on sugar. But you give sugar, I think 35 billion.
13 billion this particular year, 15 million last year. Very significant amounts with very much declining production.
Correct. And so, in essence, a lot of the measures you announced cost less than the wastage you will become involved in. And so, a hallmark of this budget will again be corruption and wastage. There are some more points I want to mention apart from the fact that the figures aren't credible. And when you look at the budget, it has nothing to do with their management. It is oil production that is producing revenue, and they're just using the revenue while. So you see no management, no plan, and you talk as if you are responsible. The PSA was signed by us in 2016. They are fortunate that the money started to flow while they are in government and they are not managing it properly. So all the bizarre comparisons, I think, are ridiculous. And then his inflation figures. Oh, Lord. The Guyanese out there know that the inflation is far more than 2%. You know, he said something that they increase other crops by 5%. a lot of the products, therefore, in the market, you should have had more. How does he explain
the increase in price?
Increased production and then there is increase of price, which says that he's fudging the figures because inflation will be higher. Plus, he add how much money they supply, they put in the economy. So you're seeing the mismanagement of the economy. And then no significant emphasis on human resource development. Celebrating, you train 13,000 people for by BIT, I think it is, Board of Industrial Training. What he didn't say is how many of them got employment.
Sure.
Because many of them have been trained. The university is producing people, but they are not getting employment. Interestingly, any sensible body and a country that is useful, you would have heard the unemployment rate. He mentioned nothing about the unemployment rate. I don't know what kind of economists or economy they are talking about. Nothing. All that manifested here is a lack of planning. A lack of planning. So I would say that essentially, this budget will not impact the lives of people positively, except those at the top. Because the hallmark of this budget is little or nothing for the average man, while the contractors and the high-end payers in the country will enjoy themselves. I believe that essentially what is happening here is that we are back to square one, where the rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer. He didn't tell us anything about inequity in wealth, but every Guyanese knows. He talking about money for the newborn child. He didn't say what it was the purpose of it, which if you're a proper budget person, you would tell us what is the social impact of it. But when you calculate the money that will be spent on it,
not significant.
Critic get more than the in one contract.
Well, there you go.
So you are not really focusing on the people of Guyana. Here is a man who was saying we had no projects, but the gas to shore project is ours.
Absolutely.
The only difference is that we had identified a different
an appropriate spot.
And they come and put whales. The other difference is we had environmental impact assessment and feasibility study done. They had none. So the man was sheer contradiction. And when you listen to him, he really established to us that he's a poor planner, that they have no interest in the people of Guyana, because little or nothing in this budget is for the people of Guyana. More so, they have not incentivized people to want to work and stay in Guyana. And so I think this budget was a complete mess. All Ashni Singh did was to establish that they don't have a plan. And when I listened to his comments on income tax, they were so contradictory. His comments on we did nothing, but then he referring to projects that we did, again contradictory. The man was in total disarray.